ago, I used to read a fable called The Casket by a Russian poet, Ivan Krylov. And one thing struck me. Why didn't the fat, lazy poet finish his fable? Do you remember a casket with a secret was brought from overseas? They looked for the secret lock, but failed. And suddenly the fable ends with the line, the casket opens simply. So I got angry. Well, how simply? You rascal, you did not show me the system of simplicity. Was there a latch? Or whatever. You just had to open it. To move some lock hanger. And then suddenly one day I realized that someone had once misinterpreted the last line of a fable. And a second person repeated it, and a third person repeated it. A whole generation repeated it. And everybody has been understanding that fable wrong ever since. The casket opened simply. And you need to get it this way. The casket was just open. You just had to lift the lid. That's what the poet meant. And finished the fable at the highest humorous level. They looked for the secret lock, but one had just to lift the lid. It wasn't closed. The casket was just open, not simple. Because when we mean simple, the question is how simple. So it turns out that life is an amazing thing. We live in this world. We take a lot of assumptions, a lot of things on faith, and we do not bother to check them out. It's like they have been tested before us. They are given to us pre-packaged. And we don't even know that revealing these secrets is like gaining the secret of happiness. Johann Sebastian Bach was once asked, "How did you achieve such success?" Do you know what Bach replied? He said something absolutely phenomenal. I don't know whether to laugh or cry. He said that if everyone was as diligent as he was, everyone would be successful as well. Well, I wonder now, was Bach joking? Was he mocking those who asked the question? Did he realize there was no answer? Or maybe he answered honestly, sincerely, as befits a true Protestant. Because Protestantism says, if you are a craftsman, a master, work hard and you will be rewarded. Work in the sweat of your brow from morning till night. Work, practice your craft and excel. That is, be diligent. Or maybe because there was a church nearby? Many of Bach's contemporaries were diligent. You can't imagine the number of wonderful, diligent musicians who worked in German churches alongside Bach. And now what? Where are they all? I mean, they wrote a huge amount of music. After all, do not forget that Bach performed the same function as all the other church musicians. He did not do anything extra. That's how busy they were. They all had wives, they all had children, they all had homes, they all had economic problems. They had to write music for Easter, for this or that holiday on Saturday or on Sunday. They all had to work with the choir. They had to play the organ. They had to be in activity all the time, and the more the better. Bach did it 100%. He worked up a sweat, as a real normal worker should. And probably we can say that Bach answered correctly. Diligence. He was diligent. We We can say 1,000 words, that it's a beautiful melody, that it's a beautiful harmony, that it's a good condition, so marvelous. But I'll just say one thing. This music is written as a poem, and its meaning is the following. Ik ruft zu dir, I call on you, Lord. I cry out to thee, O merciful God. I want to say something very important. All of humanity is crying out, and if it is crying out, then it should go like this. Oh my God, do you hear me? Bach cries out in this way. It's the whole history of theater. It's the whole philosophy. It means that Bach, he thinks on such a level that it is no longer a question of diligence. It's a question of belonging. We often say, great Mozart, great Bach, great Shakespeare, great Brahms, great Wagner. Isn't the word great a bit corny? Great composer, great poet. It makes me feel uncomfortable. And now let's figure out what great is in Russian. Great, it means a gigantic container. It's a lot of dimensions. Space, it is great, it is boundless, it has neither beginning nor end. Infinite movement in outer space. Great Bach means it's an ocean. It's no accident that Beethoven uses Bach's name for pun. You remember, don't you? Their Bach is German for brook. Composer Beethoven says, it's not a brook. It's an ocean. That's where the genesis of the word great is. Everyone is used to repeating that Bach was forgotten for 100 years. Some doubt it. There is a lot of discussion about it. Some books claim that he was never forgotten. It's all nonsense. All the great composers knew him anyway. And that's also true. But still, Bach has been forgotten. If we consider who he is today for all who understand, we claim he was forgotten. Yes. Beethoven played Bach. He said it was an ocean. Mozart played Bach, and 2 years of his life were lost because he tried to imitate. But these was no more Bach. Why? Why wasn't there Bach anymore? Because he had children who were geniuses. They all became great composers. And they should have done everything for their father, Johann Sebastian Bach, not be forgotten. After all, they had become famous Bachs. One in Dresden, one in Leipzig, one in Berlin. Bach. They were the biggest trendsetters of music. How could they allow their father to be forgotten? I got the answer, but it was not in the chronicles. It was found in a Pushkin's poem, Little Tragedy. Well, let's walk proudly around the world again. The Tragedy of Mozart and Salieri. Russian literature gave me the answer to Bach's question. Composer Salieri says about Mozart before poisoning him, what is the use if Mozart is alive? He won't leave an heir either. Well, it is easy to say what a scoundrel Salieri is, but it is more difficult to realize that Alexander Pushkin is a genius at this point. He understood it too. It's the same question that agitated the sons of Bach. What will happen to us if Dad's music lives on? He left no heirs. He left only 5 great musicians. He was an ocean, as Beethoven said. And nothing flows out of the ocean. Everything flows into it. There is no way out. And Bach's children did everything they could to make sure their dad was forgotten. Oh, what rascals. Someone quick thinking and quick acting might say, no, they're not. They sacrificed themselves and their dad as well. Why? It was a sacrifice to the subsequent development of European music. The Bach's music cannot be continued. No, you cannot continue that. Who can become an heir of Bach? I'm not quite right. There's Einstein with his E equals MC squared. Now that's a continuation of Bach. Humanity didn't have that in its musical capabilities, and when Bach left, the children realized it was the end. We have to do everything we can to move Daddy away. They said, Daddy was a wonderful organist, played the organ very well, but his music is scholarly, boring, and so on and so forth. They've done everything. They took a different path. They turned away from the ocean and went over there to the rivers, to beautiful lakes, along the paths, along beautiful gardens, parks, estates. These marvelous melodies appeared. Joseph Haydn was born. A young Beethoven. Sweet Mozart showed up. Without of Bach, the world went the other way. And after Haydn, Mozart, Beethoven, and Schubert were recognized, the world loved them. And they were called the Viennese Classical School. Bach came back 100 years later. He crashed on planet Earth and couldn't destroy anyone. He could not stop the development of music. And mankind realized that, yes, there was music, many styles of music, and there was Bach. A great vast ocean. There's an important thought in the Bible. In the beginning was the Word. But if we go back to the original language of the New Testament, it says Aramaic. We can find a word logos in there, the Greek word logos. In the beginning was the logos. Logos is not just a word. Logos is more than that. The word logos is a universal harmony. It's a structure. It's a music that is almost a symbol of what Bach is. Say Bach and you will hear tararam, toccata and fugue in D minor. And let me try to reveal a little bit of the most important secret of this music. In the beginning was the Logos, the Bible says. What is the Logos? Now, if you look at what part of the organ, as I go on speaking, you will see. This place right here is the golden ratio for the keyboard, the proportion of the golden ratio. This is where the eyes of the Mona Lisa are. This is where the construction of the domes of churches begins, from here at this point. This is the proportion of the human body structure. This is the ratio of planets in our solar system and the location of the Earth in the zone of the golden ratio. I will not go into these topics now. You can see it yourself. Read it everywhere. I just want to show you that the logos of Bach, begins in the zone of the golden ratio. Dissemination. And now there's going to be a second time for the melody. Look where it is. Of course, in the center, the axis of symmetry. And now for the third time, the golden ratio zone from left to right. We flip the Mona Lisa, we flip the church. Here we go. What do we see? We see the Trinity of the Logos representing the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. They sound three times, of course. Here they are, the two golden ratio and proportion, exact gold, two golden proportions and symmetry. What is Bach after all? The Logos. There it is, the Logos. Triune, triangular, unified, perfect, circular, universal. So this is the Logos, this is life. So be it, ordered God. And there was life. There is life. And what opposes Logos? A chaos. Chaos is demolition, it's destruction, it's death. Listen. I stopped at the most sacred place. I didn't play the chord resolution. Why didn't I? Because right here and right now, Bach is demonstrating the triumph of Logos over chaos. I mean, this chaos, yes, this one, it's like a bomb detonator. It's like an atomic bomb. It's a supernova flash. It's a gigantic universal catastrophe that destroys the Logos. And now Bach, through the power of his genius, given to him by God, will show us the triumph of Logos over chaos. Not a bad morning exercise, huh? For the soul. To wake up and go through again this victory over death, the victory of the Logos over chaos. I have a task for you. Row 1, row 2, row 3. 3 rows, okay? All of you. Your task is to claim that the whole world is...
Padada.
I mean, it's a thesis that doesn't sound like a meaningful word, but padada, okay? Padada. Can we rehearse it? A few times in a row.
Padada, 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 padada. Спасибо.
You disagree with them and claim that the whole world is not padada.
Padada.
I mean a reverse thesis, right? Thesis and antithesis, pro et contra. You can say...
Можете сказать падада, падада, падада.
3 rows.
Падада, 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 падада.
Thank you. Now we do it this way. You start and you'll continue on my stroke, right? So you start.
Падада, падада, продолжайте. Падада, 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 падада.
Did you hear what happened? You say padada and they say padada, but you agree with each other.
Da.
That's the magic. But there is a third group. It starts behind the third row over here. And all the way to the end. You think the world is neither...
Ни падада, ни падада.
No. Your sound is...
Тати-тати-тати-тати-тати-тати-тати-та.
That's the amalgamation of it all. You can do that, right?
Тати-тати-тати-тати-тати-тати-тати-та.
Yes. And you say no to them. That's what you're gonna do.
Пам, пам, пам. Пауза. Пам, пам, пам. Пауза. Пам, пам, пам.
So practice it.
Пам, пам, пам. Пауза. Pam, pam, pam. Pause.
And you, the last row, please. This is going to be a random logic, just what occurred to me. You can say pa-da-da, but it would be better this way. For ages, planets are revolving. For ages, planets are revolving. Is that a deal? Yes? It's just a coincidence. Billions of languages, billions of civilizations, and this sudden coincidence, it makes sense. One of the undecillion of possibilities just happened to get on Earth. For everyone else, it's chaos. Same as...
Итак, век вращаются планеты.
So,
век вращаются планеты, век вращаются планеты, век вращаются планеты. Начали.
Here we go. Attention. Everyone remembers?
Начали.
Here we go.
Падада, 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 падада. Тати-тати-тати-тати-тати-тати-тати-та. Тати-тати-тати-тати-тати-тати-тати-та. Век вращаются планеты, век вращаются планеты, век вращаются планеты. Там, пауз. Там, пауз. Там, пауз.
you ever keep doing this and then listen to Johann Sebastian Bach's Third Brandenburg Concerto, you have no idea what will happen. You will immediately understand. A, Bach. B, the concerto. C, this Brandenburg Concerto. D, you will make a journey into cosmic energies, into outer space. You will realize that you belong to planet Earth with your feet only. The rest of our part, of course, is right here in this great space over atmosphere in this cosmos. There can be no stopping. Why is the organ the principal instrument for Bach? Not just the main one, but the organ is Bach. Bach wrote for many instruments, for orchestras, for violin, for flute, but he always thought only in terms of the organ. Why the organ? I can understand Bach's mentality, Bach's principles of thinking, even a little bit, a thousandth, a millionth, when I sit alone at the organ at night. No one rushes me anywhere. I don't have to go anywhere. I have the keys to the church, to the organ, and a whole night ahead of me. A feast, a night of celebration. I sit down and start playing. Even less. Do you know how much time it takes to look for new registers, new timbres? How do you comprehend these thousands of tubes? The number of combinations, even on this small organ, not the biggest, decent enough, is already equal to the number of stars in the sky. Millions of years to sit here, and one can sit here and search and never finish, never complete this search. Bach opens up a world equal to the great universe, but there is another side to it. By discovering Bach, we discover the boundlessness of this world. That is, our life becomes part of the boundless world, and it means we have no beginning and no end, no life and death. There is no this short span that we supposedly have to live on this planet. Then we are involved. Then we are embedded in the greatness of a whole series of worlds, parallel worlds, the worlds of Mozart, Beethoven, Bach.